eyes on the beat.
Woohoo! What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up, you guys? Cheers to the weekend. Happy Saturday. Happy NFC, AFC Championship weekend. I hope you all had a wonderful week and you are inside because here in New York, it is freezing outside. I ran errands earlier and I was like, woo, time to get back inside. It is freezing, y'all. I'm not going to even hold you guys. We're going to get right into it, okay? Because let me tell you something. The NBA is a complete disarray, and we're going to start right ahead with Giannis, y'all, okay? Because I don't know if you guys watched the game last night, the Bucks versus the Nuggets. Watching that game, Giannis, even before he got injured, they're saying he's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. Another calf strain, like the third one this season, and we're not even at the halfway mark yet, or close, we're almost close to, but not there officially yet. I'm like, you know what? It is time for Giannis to leave Milwaukee. I said this a while ago, but Giannis being who he is, he wanted to stay. And obviously speaking, like watching this game, he just looked like he's just going through the motions, just trying to be professional, not wanting to put on his team, which of course I respect. But looking at Giannis, I'm like, Giannis, it's time for you to go, my brother. It's time for you to go. Something I want to go back to before we talk about what happened last night. Giannis called out his teammates a couple of days ago in the post-game press conference, and people kind of had like mixed feelings about it. Personally, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Now, I saw bits and pieces of it. I'm going to actually watch it here live with you guys because I like to make sure that I do things. I see things like in real time with you guys. I don't want to like look at it first and then come back. So here we are. Hold on. Who left me a comment already? What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? What's up, brother? Hope you are feeling just a little bit better than yesterday. Let me go to this, y'all. Let me share my screen because I'm like, Giannis needs to get the heck up out of there, man. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play some of it, y'all. Share the screen. All right, here we go. Giannis. Share.
You guys pretty quickly, just what do you see in that first quarter?
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it wasn't moving the ball as much. The ball was sticking a lot. They were just making shots, so they were moving the ball very well. Whenever we tried to double team Shea, he was making the right pass to his teammate. Guys were able to get downhill or get an open shot. And the other way, we didn't do our job. Like, wasn't move the ball was sticking. We played a lot of one-on-one, and with this team, we can't play one-on-one. The build wall. We have great defenders, so you got to kind of move them side to side and try to break the defense, get downhill, get in the paint, try to create wide open threes. And when you do that, you have a little bit more success. But when you try to play one-on-one, it's kind of hard.
I know you don't view it as I need more shots or I want more shots, but it's I think 11 shots for you tonight, 12, 13. Getting one of the most efficient scorers on the planet more shots is a good thing for most basketball teams. How do you feel like the team can be more successful in that regard, getting you more shots, getting you more touches?
Are you ready?
Oh, no, we are not ready. We do not want to hear.
For Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, The New Avengers, now streaming on Disney+.
Let's do this.
But I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy that will yell and
Thank you.
and demand the ball. I've never done that in my career, but I feel like I've played with teammates that kind of understand, the gravity that I can cause for our team and how I can create for my teammates and for myself, and how I can help the team be more successful. But maybe for some reason, like I don't understand. Maybe because we're young, maybe because we're not playing well, maybe because guys think it's their turn. They want to carry the team on their back and try to turn this around. But I really don't get it. Um, I really don't.
All right. All right. Giannis said he don't get it. And honestly, I do not get it either. Giannis is a top 5 player in the NBA. It doesn't matter who else you want to put on that list. You can put the Joker, you can put Luca, you can put LeBron, you can put Steph, you can put KD. I don't care who you have on your top 5 list for top NBA players right now currently playing, but Giannis is definitely, or if he's not, he should be somewhere on your list, right? How do you have a team that doesn't want to get your franchise player the ball? And where the heck is Doc at? Like, how do you even allow that to happen? How is it Giannis is on the floor playing and people are not passing him the ball? And as a coach, this is not a conversation. Like, get Giannis the ball, especially if you're not winning. It's one thing, like, if you guys, okay, you're passing the ball, sharing, you put a new system in place because Giannis has been hurt a few times. So you're trying some different things out and it's beneficial. It's working. It's not. It's not. The team is on a struggle bus, even with Giannis. So how do you have your best player on the floor and you're not getting him the ball? Now, I saw some mixed reviews about from people speaking about Giannis calling his teammates out. I have personally never had a problem when players call out teammates because if you need to be called out, then damn it, you need to be called out. If we're not playing to the best of our abilities, if guys are wide open, no one's playing, no one's getting rebounds, no one's willing to play defense, no one's shooting when they have an open shot, like people are being selfish and trying to play, hero ball when we have somebody open, in the corner over there, pass the ball. Don't try to drive through traffic through 4 defenders and get your layup blocked as opposed to kicking it out to the open man in the corner for the open 3. They may or may not make it, but that's a better shot to take rather than having your shot blocked. You know what I mean? So to me, a lot of this also goes back to coaching. It goes back to leadership. What's going on? What's going on? Because you got your franchise guy there. He's the one that won you a championship. He's there. He's clearly not happy. I mean, he is not happy. You guys watching the game last night, you could tell Giannis is like he looks like like Jimmy Butler said last season, the joy is gone for him out of Milwaukee. His joy is gone. It is all in his face, it's in his demeanor. Even before last night, I'm like, get Giannis out of there. This is his 3rd calf strain. And we all know those calf strains are not to be played with because you keep playing on them calf strains. Next thing you know, it's a torn Achilles, an ACL. Like, get him out of there. Get him out of there respectfully. Giannis, I think, is too classy and too much of a stand-up guy to say, hey, you know what? Get me the heck up out of here. I'm done with you guys, right? That's just not how he was raised. When you hear him speak, about how he was raised and how he his family, having his brother there, you know what I mean? Like, those things mean a lot to him. I believe he really does love Milwaukee. And he would prefer not to move if he had to. But at this point, even for the Bucks, right? What are you getting with him? Right? Because obviously you have him there, right? And I understand why. As an owner, I wouldn't want to personally let go of him. But when you think about what you could get in return for him, at this point, it's a lose-lose situation. Giannis, the team there is not strong enough, right? And again, this is a team sport, so he's not gonna. He could propel them to a certain point, maybe to play-in, but to get further when you're going against those better teams, you know what I mean? The Pistons are not to be played with. Okay, this season they're on one. The Knicks, they're going through some uncharted waters. They're definitely struggling right now, except for when they play the Nets, because that was a complete beatdown. I have never seen a score like that in my life. But nevertheless, right? So you have the Knicks who are still there. Do not be fooled, okay? Jalen Brunson, he's been in, he's been out, he's been, hurt, not hurt. But when it comes time for playoffs, they will definitely be there, okay? In spite of what we thought that the Celtics were going to have a down year, we like no JT. Drew Holiday is gone. Kristaps is now, with Atlanta. Atlanta's another team that looks, they're going to find their stride, right? Obviously, but they look, pretty decent as well. So what are you doing? Like, you don't have the roster to compete in a 7-game series with these other teams respectfully, even though the East is wide open. So at this point, let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Because you're not. It's not. You're wasting his time and his talents. And honestly speaking, what could you get now in return for him? A trade like Giannis. has to be pulled off. I'm pretty sure I would think with multiple teams. Like I don't think there's going to be a one person trade like Giannis to the Warriors, right? Yeah, see, I threw that in there. Giannis to the Warriors. I have been saying that for a while, y'all. Steph is out there wasting his time too, right? Really speaking. Well, you might as well get some of them young pieces, from the Warriors. Jimmy is out for the season, unfortunately. But I would love to see Giannis with Steph. You know what I mean? In a perfect world, I would absolutely love it. I think it would be honestly. I think it could really help the both of them. If I'm being completely honest, will they win it all? I don't know, but I think it's a good trade. But that's what I was saying. It seems like nowadays players are so sensitive. It's like you can't call your team out. Damn it, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you have a right to be called out. Do your freaking job, right? You guys, I always say this. Everybody has a job. This is a team sport. Giannis is not, no matter if he puts up 45 points, astounding 25 rebounds to go with it, and another 10 or 12 assists. Damn it, this is still a team sport. He can't do everything on his own. Now that young Ryan Rollins, I like that young man. Okay, I like him a lot. I think he has a very very bright future. But Bobby Portis, they brought in Miles Turner from the Pacers. And by the way, the Pacers are struggling this season without Tyrese Halliburton. A lot of y'all were like, Tyrese is overrated. He's this, he's that. They are on the struggle bus without Tyrese Halliburton playing this season, okay? Very, very respectfully. So they do have, I think they're in a state of rebuilding. You let Giannis go, you do a multi team trade and figure some things out with different teams. Obviously, Jaws out there, you know what I mean. So there's a lot of ways that this could go potentially with who they could get in, but right now it's really not working. And Giannis just needs to heck on before it's too late. Don't waste your good years. I always say that because in this and as a professional athlete, Giannis is now 30, I think 31, somewhere in there. Like you don't stay young forever. And we all know once you get to be like 30, 31, they're like, oh man, they're looking at you sideways. They're like, okay, he's not who he used to be. So yeah, free Giannis, get him up out of there. Watching that game last night, he just looked like, oh my God, not again. He's out there just going through the motions, like, I'm gonna still score, I'm still gonna be me. But at this point, if I'm ownership, I'm looking at Doc too, because how is it my best player is not getting the ball? Like, how do we have players on the field? Oh, I say field, y'all. Football's in my head at the same time. How do we have players on the court who are not passing the ball to Giannis? Why? What do we do that at? He's your best player. There is no excuse. Like, if you're not coaching it, you're condoning it. That if that happened, it should only have happened once. And at halftime, that should have been a conversation. It should have been a timeout. Like, timeout. Everybody come over here. Giannis needs the ball. Like, what the heck happened? What shifted where they're like, okay, Giannis is here, but we're going to pass him. We're not going to pay him no attention. Like, huh? What does that even happen? That makes no sense to me. Let me go to some of these comments, y'all. What's up? Some of y'all coming in here. Y'all, if y'all haven't been here before, welcome to my channel. Welcome, welcome. My name is Kaja. If you haven't been here before, please hit the like and subscribe button on your way in or on your way out. I would appreciate it. Yes, I said for Giannis. His style of ball will only last 3 to 5 years. He's been playing for longer than 3 to 5 years, high level. What up? Bruce, what's up? What's up, Bruce? How you doing? Wait, here comes if y'all haven't been here, Bruce is the comic relief. He always comes through with some good laughs and positive vibes. Bruce said Giannis needs to request a new body. LOL. He is hurt again. Well, damn it, he should be. He's out there putting up averaging 27, 30 points, rebounds, assists, all in a losing effort more times than not. Like, of course he's straining. It's like he's out there carrying a team. Shoot, all that for nothing because they're still losing. All right, hold on. Giannis did not want the ball. He is trying to leave without asking. He does want the ball. But you may be right. Maybe he doesn't want to come out and say. I was saying a little while ago. I don't know if you heard me, Bruce. Giannis is not that kind of guy. Like he's not like Jimmy. Like Jimmy is gonna call you out for to be known that he can't find his joy. He's not happy. He wants to be up out of there. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna mince words. But Giannis is a little bit different. I'm not gonna say he's more classy, but he's more reserved in that way. You know what I mean? But I feel like the Bucks, they got their championship from Giannis. Giannis also got his championship playing with the Bucks. But this also goes back to sometimes people, I think, ownership, they want to change things so bad, right? You got rid of Drew. I think that was the beginning of the downfall, right? You got rid of Drew, and then Chris Middleton, he couldn't stay hurt. I mean, that was a whole other situation. You brought Damon, and then unfortunately, we never got to really see that relationship really manifest what we thought it could be. Like I was excited when I heard Dame was going. I was like, Dame is. I was so happy that he could finally potentially get a championship, and then that didn't work out, and then he had the blood clot, and then obviously he tore his Achilles. I was like, man. It just wasn't meant to be, right? That's just the way that all boils down to me, because Dame has not been that hurt to my knowledge, and then he goes there, and all that happens the first season. They were getting, trying to get acquainted, and then the second season, all the injuries and whatnot. It just, but they got that the in season championship, right? They got the extra 500K. That's something, right? Meaning, oh, okay, now I go to say, okay, meaning he has 3 high level years of, okay, I get what you're saying about that. All right. See, hold on, we gonna get there. We get there in a second. Giannis, one of Drew gone, and one of Dame. Well, they traded Drew before. I don't think I don't think that he wanted Drew gone. They underestimated Drew's value. I really do. A lot of times I think teams forget, like you forget who helped bring you to the party. You know what I mean? Yes, Giannis obviously is the franchise guy, right? Drew was one of those players that I call a plug-in. When I say plug-in, I don't mean disrespectfully. I mean somebody who's going to do whatever needs to be done. They can play defense. They can shoot when they need to. Like that's what I mean. When I say a plug-in guy. He's going to do whatever needs to be done. He's going to do it quietly. He doesn't care about being the focal point or being the face of the franchise kind of vibe. He's like, I'm here to help win and be the best team, and leader that I could be. You know what I mean? Respectfully. Hold on. Ownership give one Dame is that they're teaching him a lesson. I understand what they were trying to do. That they were trying to obviously like, okay, because you have him there, and then he's gonna be out. That's a long injury. You know what I mean? Like that's like a whole year. And they know that Giannis wasn't happy, so I think they were trying to be like, okay, how do we salvage, this upcoming season? Dame obviously is not going to be here because of what happened. So what do we do? How do we pivot and still make Giannis happy? Who else can we bring in? Unfortunately, they didn't really do anything or enough, in my opinion, at all. But we're gonna see what happens because Giannis is now out for another 3 to 4 weeks again. And honestly speaking, he should just stop playing before he's out for the whole next season. Yeah, if y'all been here, y'all know how I feel. I always say players, like even with football, I'm like, yo, if you're injured, stop playing. Stop. Like especially them calf strains, not to be played with, y'all. You gotta take those seriously. What's up, big dog? What's up? What's up? Oh, big dog, we had to find new teams now, big dog, right? Because it's just a sad time for us now in the NFL. But I'm gonna move on, you guys, all right? Because let me ask you guys though, what do y'all think that what would you like to see Giannis go? If Giannis said, you know what, I want to be out of Milwaukee today, like I want to free me, send me. Best landing spot y'all think for Giannis? If I had to choose, I said Warriors. I also said before the season began, I thought the Knicks would be a great place for him because the East is so wide open. But honestly, the new team, the new I'm not gonna say new players, but the new system they implemented, where you have other players who are finally getting a chance to play, has worked out for them. So I'm not too mad at it. I know they hit a little bit of a snag, you know what I mean. But we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna count the Knicks yet at all. Giannis will be no. I said that this past offseason. I thought, for sure he was gonna go there, especially after they announced that Dame was no, they were done with Dame, respectfully. So Drew is a pillar needed piece for any team to win. Absolutely, you know what I mean. I think even though like they got what they wanted. Drew was just being he was being used, right? Drew, they used him. Milwaukee, he got the championship. They're like, oh, can go. Got a championship with the Boston Celtics. I'm like, okay, you could go. Thank you. So I'm like, man, hold on. Giannis too. I got you with Golden State. Sixers. I would like Giannis if he's not going with Steph, right? That's not if he's not going to stay. I would like him to stay in the East. I think the East, the West is such a juggernaut. There's so many great teams, so many young teams. You know what I mean? I think if that's the case, if he can't go to the Warriors, right, with Steph, I'm like, you know what, Giannis, stay in the East. Stay in the East. If you're talking about, we'll go back to what you said about the Sixers, right? So where's Joel Embiid going, and who the hell is taking him with that contract? Respectfully, who's taking him right now? I'm watching as I'm doing this with y'all. I'm not looking at it, but I have the Knicks versus Philly on my screen right now, right? ESPN. It's in the fourth quarter. It's about 9 minutes left. The score is 96-79, and Joel is out there, but Joel can't stay healthy. So I'm not going to take Joel on as I'm able to move off his contract into the season, and I'm not sure how many seasons he has left with on his current contract. I'm not taking him on. It's like taking on Anthony Davis. Those players, I cannot take either one of them on. I cannot, because I know what I'm getting. A player who's going to be on the bench, who's always injured. Philly. So I said, what's up, DJ? So you also said Philly as well. Okay, so we got 2 Philly people in here. Okay. Lakers. What the hell is Giannis doing on the Lakers? What are they doing? What? And if I'm Milwaukee, I don't want nobody on your bench, respectfully. Okay, you can keep that whole bench. So we're gonna have about 2 more teams come up in here for this trade to work out. If I'm getting rid of Giannis, okay? Because I do not want Jared Vanderbilt. I don't want Gabe Vincent. Very respectfully, okay? Yeah, and I don't want Bronny Jr. And maybe Bronny can play better in a different system. If he got more playing time, he might look better. I'm not going to say what the young man can't or can't be in this league because he's still very, very new. System and coaching, all that matters, right? And how you use somebody. But respectfully, no, I'm not giving you Giannis for that. I'm not. I like him in Brooklyn. Him and MPJ. I like him in Brooklyn. I do. I can see that. You know what I mean? I said this before, though, put Giannis there with Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, next season, right? Because this season is halfway done. If Giannis is trying to win this season, right, and you want to, compete this season, you want to out another 3 to 4 weeks. So hopefully, he heals properly. Let's say he comes back and he's 100%. It wouldn't be the Pacers this season, right? I'm thinking in the future when I say Indiana. If he wants to win right now this season, I am saying go ahead and maybe go to Detroit, right? Because the Pistons, I think Giannis, Kate Cunningham, that to me, that duo would be insane in my very, very humble opinion, y'all, okay? I really do that would be insane. I think Detroit, I think is just maybe one piece away from winning it all. I'm not worried about them so much in the East. I'm thinking about when you get to obviously the finals and you got to the West. West is a whole juggernaut of really, really good teams. All right. Awarded, embody now. Fool's gold, never loses value. LeBron for Giannis. Why the heck would LeBron want to go to Milwaukee? Absolutely not. If I'm going anywhere, it's gonna be with number 30. All right. Don't play with me if I'm LeBron. LeBron he can say where he can dictate it because obviously he has a no trade clause. You know what I mean? So he can pretty much do what he wants to do. Trade Giannis for Embiid now. Fool's God never loses value. Fool's gold, excuse me. Giannis would slow down. I don't think so. I don't. And you gotta remember, like Tyrese is a traditional point guard in the sense of he always wants to pass the ball first. He likes to pass it more than he actually likes to shoot it. And Giannis also likes to pass. He passes the ball as well. He averages on average, he's about maybe 7 to 9, maybe 10 assists. It depends on who he has around him. You know what I mean? Like who he has around him right now, they're okay. So I'm not really passing the ball to too many people on that team, respectfully. Giannis to the Timberwolves. So who you giving up? Because they just gave Nas Reed, I believe, a 4 or 5 year extension. You got Jaden; those are your 2 bigs. You got Rudy. So you're saying Rudy to Milwaukee, and you take Giannis because Rudy got a nice contract too. Maybe. So you have, if he goes to Timberwolves, you have Giannis, you got Sir Anthony Edwards, you got Jaden, you have Nas, DiVincenzo, Got my guy Bones Highland. Shout out to my guy Bones Highland, y'all. Bones Highland is finally getting the respect and the playing time that he deserves. I have been saying, play my guy Bones. I was like, look, if Bones don't get a team with some playing time, I'm gonna have to email Adam, okay? Like, getting up, like for real, like get my guy some playing time. but they worked it out. He finally found the place. I'm happy for him. Who else is on there? You got Terrence. I mean, Mike Conley's there, but kind of took a back seat. So that possibly, maybe. Oh yeah, Julius. I forgot about Julius Randle. Yeah, I'm Julius. No, don't send me. Don't send me to Milwaukee. Please don't do that. So yeah, Rudy. Yeah, I would say if I'm Timberwolves and I can get Rudy for Giannis, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I like that. But again, that's the West. I'm trying to keep Giannis in the East if I can because the West has so many stacked teams already. You know what I mean? Um, But yeah, you guys, interesting. Look, we're gonna see what happens, right? Obviously, I think we have maybe 2 more weeks before the deadline, so we're gonna move on, right y'all? Let me see. Let me find this. I'm gonna play this clip, y'all, and add into it. Okay. Take this off. All right. As we all know, Jimmy Butler. It's so hard to be a Warriors fan. It's hard to be a Warriors fan, y'all. Lately, the Warriors. All right. So Jimmy Butler goes down. I saw that knee buckle and pop. I was like, oh shit. This is not good at all. It's definitely not good. And then obviously it was confirmed. Torn ACL. He's out for the season. So there goes that. And then I was like, I posted about it if you guys saw it. I was like, all right, Steve, are we gonna go ahead and turn to Kuminga? Like, all right, Kuminga. Haven't played you in a while, but Jimmy's down. You wanna tap in here? Come on. And be a good boy, as my son would say, good boy. And he came right in, which I think he definitely should have, because you want to also play for yourself so that when you ask for a trade, teams are going to pay you what you believe you're worth. So anywho, they asked Steve Kerr about his expectations for Kuminga. Obviously, he got injured, again, and he's also been on the injury bus too. So I'm playing a little bit of what Steve Kerr had to say, y'all. Hold on, let me share my screen so you guys can hear.
See how it goes, and then we'll go from there.
Hold on, let me go back a little bit.
Want to reveal your starters tonight?
No, not in the mood.
Maybe a little bit of an experimentation post Jimmy here. How much of a rotation experimentation do you expect, and how long?
I don't know. I mean, I just have to wait and see the results. We're gonna, play a certain rotation tonight, and we'll see how it goes, and then we'll go from there.
You want to reveal your starters tonight?
No, not in the mood.
Kuminga's still in the rotation.
Yes, he is. Go ahead. More. I know you got lots more Kuminga questions. Go ahead. Fire away. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
What do you want to see from him this stretch?
What do I want to see
From
from?
him, JK, in this stretch?
Like I said, here they come. I want to see the same thing I want to see from the rest of our guys. Just play hard, do the things that we're preaching, play with energy, play as a group, and let's go get victories. That's it. I mean, it's the same plan for whoever comes on the floor.
You've obviously talked a lot over the years about the non-Steph minutes and Jimmy's arrival. I saw that.
Yeah.
How much of a challenge, or what unique thing do you need to see from those minutes now without either of them on the court?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the equation that we need to figure out. Who we're going to play in the starting lineup, and what will those 16 minutes look like without Steph. And so we've got our ideas, and you'll see them tonight, and we'll see how it goes.
William has mostly been coming off the bench this year in Dallas. He's had some
Who? I'm sorry?
Clay.
Clay.
And set some really good games these past few weeks. Just what have you seen, observed about what he's been able to do this year from afar?
Looks like he's in a really good rhythm right now. We know what he's capable of, and happy for him. That he seems to be in a good place. And we always pull for him.
All right, you guys. Let me go ahead. Let me go back. All right, you guys. I see a lot of hold on. Y'all didn't even get to a thing yet. Hold on. What? Uh-oh. All right. All right. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me go. I knew you were gonna come in hot, brother D. All right. Hold on. Let me let me just get to it. Oh man. All right, y'all. Kuminga and Steve Kerr. Oh man, you guys, look, I think at this point it is lupus. It's obvious that Steve Kerr and Kuminga, whatever's happening in that relationship, or not, is done at this point. Now, I don't know exactly what it is that Steve Kerr doesn't like about Kuminga personally, or if it's professionally. But for me, this decision to not play him is not. I'm interested to know, had Jimmy not gone down, would they have traded Kuminga? I really thought Kuminga was on his way out the door, but obviously Jimmy getting hurt. Like, you can't have Jimmy hurt and then on top of that, then get rid of Kuminga, right? Unless you're going to get somebody else crazy, right? So yeah, that's that. But the beginning of the season, right after they finally moved past the whole thing with Kuminga wanting his money and certain things in the trade and the language and whatnot, they finally moved past that. Kuminga signed, he wants more playing time. He got that. Beginning of the season, Kuminga started. And if y'all remember, he was in the starting lineup earlier this season. He was actually playing really, really well. I was like, Kuminga's been working on his game in the offseason. I could tell that he was working. He spent some time in the gym, right? All for it. And then Kuminga gets hurt. I'm like, oh man, Kuminga's hurt again. That's part of the reason also last season, you know what I mean? They had when they got Jimmy when Kuminga went down and got hurt. They had Jimmy and then, all that happened. But for me, I don't get caught. I don't think Steve Kerr and Kuminga are the only player and coach who don't get along. For me, as long as I'm getting my playing time and I'm still getting what I need, we don't have to be BFFs, right? Every coach, every player is not going to get along. So for me, when I saw Kuminga get more playing time beginning the season, I'm like, okay, what was going on, they worked it out. But then he got hurt, and obviously that took away from it. So fast forward to Jimmy going down, then you got to shift, and obviously you're not going to trade Kuminga. At the same time, you got Jimmy there because Jimmy not there because he's out for the season. So you got to be smart about that. I'm gonna go ahead and read some of these comments. But for me, I think we're a lot too much of it is going on Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is not only a coach, he's also an NBA player. He's played with the greats, the greatest there ever is, in Michael Jordan. So he knows a lot about basketball. I'm gonna go ahead and say he knows why he's not playing Kuminga as much as we might think, or there's something going else on behind the scenes that we don't know. Remember, we only see Kuminga not playing, but we're not privy to practices. We're not privy to conversations with ownership or with the GM, and no one's talking about the GM. Okay, when Bob Myers was there, he brought in the better players for this roster. The minute that he left and went to being an analyst and doing different things, and Mike Dunleavy Jr. was promoted to GM, I don't think he knows what the hell he's doing. And I say that with the utmost respect. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I haven't seen him make too many great moves, you know what I mean, to help make this roster a stronger contending roster. Jimmy was, I think, the best and biggest move that he's made since he became GM. You know what I mean? So it's one thing if Steve Kerr said, I don't like Kuminga, I don't want to play him, but you have ownership and a GM that typically do have more say in most cases. And the fact that he's able to do that, that tells me that there's more going on that we don't know. Let me go ahead and read some of these comments. All right, hold on. Going back. Warriors is a mess. Giannis not going to that mess. I think Giannis and Steph would be a great matchup, personally. And they have a bench. They got some of them need more development, but they have more talent than I think that they do. And he's at Milwaukee. Well, the game delayed tonight because of this ice cream stuff going on. LOL. Kerr was spoiled his first year as a coach. Hey DJ, I think everybody keeps talking about obviously Mark Jackson being the orchestrator of that team, and that he was. But they've won 4 championships since then. You know what I mean? It's not like they did it with the same regime. Remember, Iguodala was there. Sean Livingston was there. There were other players that were there. Jordan Bell was there. You know what I mean? Like there were other players that were there. When Steve first took over, who then left, and then they went on to win again. You know what I mean? So it's not like the same core has been there since his tenure began. And just because one person did something doesn't mean you can take over and get them to the next to a championship. And not only that, but 4 times. You know what I mean? So I can't put that all on Mark Jackson. The foundation, yes, but you still got to build on the foundation. I could put the foundation down for the house, but you still got to come in. You got to build the house, brick by brick, layer by layer. You got to add the rooms, and you got to add the decorations once the rooms are done, and the wallpaper and the plaster. All those things go together. I'm a little uncensored on this line, so buckle up. Okay, I'm buckled. See me putting the strap over? I'm buckled in. Let's do it. This cat is a fraud. He hates Kuminga. I can't call any coach who has as much experience in winning as a player, as a coach. Let's not even talk about Olympics. You know what I mean? Like to me, I can't call him a fraud. I can't do that. We must stop acting like this organization, these organizations have agendas. I mean, what does he get personally from being mean to Kuminga? Like, what does he get from it? Like, how does it help him? Like, is he getting like a pay or something on the back end? Like, what does he get from personally singling out Kuminga? I can't say it's a racist thing because I don't believe for one second that Steve Kerr is racist. He's like black players or something. You know what I mean? I can't say that. So yeah. Kaja, you look 16 today. Thank you, Bruce. You know something, Bruce? Thank you. Big smiles for me. Your skin treatment is top notch. Respectfully, Bruce, let me tell you something. I don't really do much. Okay, like I use like a little facial, like a soy based facial cleanser. That's it. My skin's very very sensitive. I don't do anything outside of that. And then a little cocoa butter. Maybe a little castor oil with the cocoa butter. Very light because obviously when you clog your pores, that's it. I don't really wear makeup, y'all. Y'all know that. I told you from the MF and giddy up. You know what I mean? I never said that you were wrong. I'm just saying, he was still playing was my point. Kerr ain't shit. F Kerr, bullies choose their victims. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think sometimes we get so emotional and we get so upset when we see things sometimes, but you got to ask yourself, what is it that we're missing here? Because there's definitely something that is being missed that we're not seeing. Again, we're not privy to everything that goes on behind the scenes, but what is it about Kuminga that makes Steve Kerr say, you know what, I don't like you, I'm going to pick on you, I'm going to bully you? Like something to me is missing from this equation. And maybe they'll talk about it or it'll come out later on. But I don't know. Right now, something's just odd to me about this whole situation. Don't forget to hit the like button, share, subscribe. Thank you. Yes, please, you guys. If you have not hit the like button, share it. At least one person subscribe, please. Whoa, brother D, right? He going in, right? I'm like, hey, what's going on? You gotta chill. You gotta chill. Take a sip of your green tea, brother D. Kerr's the same dude who let Draymond slide his teammate in the face and call KD. He let him do that because these are grown ass men, okay? Like we not gonna sit here and say that Steve Kerr let Draymond punch Jordan Poole in the face, all right? And also once again, when Draymond did finally speak on that, he said there were some things that you don't call a man. Now, I forgot what podcast I was watching. Maybe it was No Chill Gill and someone from that was there anonymously, right? said that he called Draymond Green an expensive backpack because obviously Steph has been carrying him, right? I don't know if he said that or not. Obviously, he wasn't there, but we know something happened. Draymond. One thing I will give about Draymond, aside from his reputation and Philly's catching up. His anger, his antics, whatever you want to call it. I've never seen him punch teammates in the face. Like, he doesn't have that reputation of at least not in public. You know what I mean? Behind closed doors, it could have happened 10 times over. But we've only seen that one video. Now, for me, that's an organization thing. Like, Joe Lacob is the owner. You got a GM, and then you have Steve Kerr. There should have been something that was done. I'm not saying I would have traded Draymond because, again, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly if he called him a bitch, what words he used that made Draymond go bomb. You know what I mean? I really don't know. But as an organization, they could have done something about that. Even if Steve Kerr said, I don't want to punish him, I don't want to suspend him or whatever have you. You could have. You know what I mean? And by the way, who the heck recorded that and how did that even get leaked out? You know what I mean? There's something in the milk ain't clean. I don't know. I'm going to KD, right? Draymond is a grown man. KD is a grown man. Jordan Poole is a grown man. Steph Curry is a grown man. These are grown ass men. I don't know about expecting a coach, to tell grown men what they can and cannot say. I don't think he can tell Draymond what to do and not to do. I think her not playing Kuminga is because of Draymond and Curry, especially Curry. What makes you say that? I mean, because we did see there's a time before Jimmy came there where Kuminga played alongside Steph, and he was like the second leading scorer behind Steph. Like, I think Steph could with anybody, really speaking. I think Steph was like KD. They could with anybody and make it work. You know? So yeah. But why do you feel that way, Bruce? Drop in the chat. F the GM, the coach is the bill. No, we can't F the GM. We can't because he's there. He has a job. Like, we can, as much as we want to put the blame on the coach and whatnot, all these things go together. I don't know. I believe Steve Kerr does have say in who's on the roster and what happens, but I don't think he has all the say. You do have a GM there. So I'm not going to ignore it and know that Mike Dunleavy has not done the best job getting the necessary pieces for Steph on this roster the entire offseason, right? And they were trying to figure out Kuminga's deal. I kept saying, if y'all were here, I think I must have posted a few times, them and my bills. I'm like, Mike, what are you doing in the offseason? We saw quite a few teams making moves, trying to do this, trying to do that. And every time I was checking, like, Warriors, I was on the phone, like, breaking news from Shams, nothing. Again, nothing. I'm like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing in the offseason at all. So, again, I'm going to the GM because that's your job. Steve Kerr is not the GM. I'm talking about winning all the time. Yeah, everybody has ego. I think when you are playing with a Draymond Green, a Klay Thompson, or your coaching, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, you got players who make millions. They got endorsements. They're part of the 1%. I think men have egos anyway. If you ask me, even a broke man still got an ego. Okay, so yeah. Trying to manage all that, is I don't know. Anybody who does it, good luck. Trying to manage all them egos. When they did the Olympics, was almost 2 years ago now, 2024. I'm like, I know for Steve Kerr, like, a lot of ego. You got JT, you got all the top players. You got Ant-Man, you got Steph, you got LeBron. It's a lot of egos. You know what I mean? A lot of egos. Egos are definitely a part of it. Mark Jackson deserves a job. I think so, but honestly speaking, the fact that he's not getting one, I don't know exactly the story behind it. I don't know if something happened between him and ownership, something happened between him and some players. I don't know why it seems that he's been blackballed. I really, really don't. Because I see coaches, who get multiple chances to coach. And if they get fired, they get a chance to go someplace else. And for some reason, nobody seems to want to give him a chance. I really don't understand it. But I agree with you. He does deserve a job without consequences. What's on video? Didn't Draymond call KD? I didn't say he didn't call him, but I was talking about Jordan Poole. That's what I was talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Right. Jordan Poole. Yeah, I'm not talking about the KD thing. And obviously, we saw the video where he punched him, but there was no sound on that video, so I don't know exactly what he said. I'm just when I judge somebody, y'all, I look at their whole history. Like, I don't just judge somebody based on one thing. If you don't have a history of punching teammates, something happened. You know what I mean? Like something. Now maybe Draymond, I don't know, was having a really bad day. And maybe Jordan Poole said something. Maybe he took a joke too far, and it got the best in the day. I don't know. But aside from how Draymond behaves in the game, like on the court, something. You know what I mean? Something. Kerr can handle what? It seems like Kuminga sometimes hesitates with Curry and is not playing with the flow. He's not sure, and the offense gets stagnant. It seems like he looks off Curry sometimes. Okay, okay. Kuminga and Mark Jackson, same shit, Kyle. Okay, so Mark Jackson was there before Steve Kerr got there. So you're saying you were blaming Steve Kerr a second ago, right? So now we're blaming Steve Kerr because he got hired and he got hired. Okay, that's if you're talking about that, then you're going to ownership, right? Because ownership is the one that's behind that. Because they got a whole different GM. You know what I mean? So from when Steve Kerr was hired, Kuminga is a non-shooter, Dre is a non-shooter, Butler is a non-shooter. All three can shoot the ball. Sometimes it seems like Curry wants shooters around Curry. Yeah, Draymond's defense. Kuminga to me, I'm not gonna say he's not a shooter. Not in the same way that Steph is, but he does score. I mean, like he does shoot the ball. But to me, he's more of one of those. Like he's more of a two-way player to me. You know what I mean? More of a when I say two-way, I mean defense and offense. You know what I mean? He's extremely athletic. You know what I mean? He's not so much of a three-point shooter. But he's more. That's what I'm looking for, y'all. When I say defense, athleticism. This is what I'm looking for, y'all. It's like missing me right now. It'll come to me in a second. Mid-range. Like it'll come to me. He's more of a mid-range shooter to me than he is like a spot up three or player like that. I do think he adds value, but I do think it depends on who you put him there with. It. The second unit to me, I think, needs to be stronger because in the non-Steph minutes, like he was talking about in that interview before the game, when they played the Mavericks, I believe, maybe 2 days ago now. At this point, they seem to go downhill, right? When Steph is in there, because he requires so much attention, like you obviously are able to still finagle and, get somebody some movement around him, right? But when Steph is not there, then the offense tends to slow down. Unless the bench, sometimes that bench is on, you know what I mean? And they're all firing. The other night, Pods had a great game. Moody has been, he worked on his three-point shooting, okay? Because I'm like, he can't miss lately from a three-point line. Who else is there? The rookie who I like in this system, Will Richard, Quentin Post has showed some improvement this season. Who else is there? I don't know what's going on with Seth. Seth came one game and then I haven't seen Seth again. Because somebody put out hello an APB on Seth Curry. I have no idea what the heck happened to him. Okay. Al Horford's finally back from dealing with his sciatica, whatever's going on. He can give you some spot up threes. He plays defense. He experienced. He is older now. He's not the fastest, but no, I'm just saying. Draymond also has been shooting some threes here and there, So you know what I mean. Like I said, I don't know, but I think for me, we go back to this comment real quick. I think a lot of the hesitancy. I'm gonna go back to your comment real quick and highlight it, Bruce. I think a lot of the hesitancy that we see from Kuminga sometimes, I think is because Kuminga to me needs rhythm. Like Kuminga's not the kind of player to me that can come in off the bench and just start like dominating. Like, to me, like he needs like sometimes to get his best on a consistent basis. Like he needs to be in the flow. You know what I mean? A certain kind of groove. But yeah, we gonna see. I don't know. And also he might feel like, damn, like they don't want me here. Like the coach don't like me or whatever. I don't know. That could be also why he feels. Well, he plays that way at times. Because I think Steph, you can play with anybody. Can play with Steph. Steph is he's not selfish. You know what I mean? So I think he's easy to play with. You're speaking to principal, not person. Well, you were talking about the person at first. You were talking about Steve Kerr. You said Steve Kerr ain't this, and Steve Kerr, you was want him being a bully and stuff like that. So yeah, you were talking about him specifically at first. Mark Jackson was okay, but Curry flourished on Kerr's offense. People need to stop discrediting the man because of Kuminga. Did he handle the kid well? No, but he did great things for the franchise. I would agree with that sentiment as well. One thing I'm also tired of hearing about is how he benched JT in the Olympics. Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was not benched the entire Olympics. He was benched for 2 games. He wasn't benched for every single game. Only person who didn't really play at all, was Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I mean? Like he got a gold medal. Like he said when he posted it with the gold medal, he's like, when you get an A on a project, but you didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he wanted to play too. But I think I think that we have to stop. We have to relax. You know what I mean? In my opinion, when it comes to Steve Kerr, I don't think he's a dumb coach at all. I don't think it's he doesn't a coach. He doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, y'all, look at this game. All right, so Philly is down 3 points, y'all, with 33 seconds left in this game, and the Knicks are challenging a play right now. I don't know what's happening because I'm on here with y'all. But yeah, maybe he didn't handle Kuminga well, but I don't know. I'm just saying something to me is not adding up. I don't know what it is, but something to me is not adding up with this Kuminga situation. And I think some of it goes above Steve Kerr. I really do. Because everybody now, Steve Kerr has been letting everybody play the past, maybe like 9-10 games. I mean, he's been like on an 11-man rotation. And the only person who has not played up until Jimmy getting hurt was Kuminga. So something's going on. You know what I mean? Like you gave him a contract. You know what I mean? Did you why'd you give him a contract? I don't know. To me, it's not just Steve Kerr. To me, there's levels to it. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Kerr can develop young players. Well, I mean, look, he's a head coach. You know what I mean? Like that's why you have development coaches. That's why you got assistant coaches. Like you have how many coaches are on that bench at any given time? If you look at an NBA game, you got the head coach, and then you got like about 8 other coaches around them. You know what I mean? So if Steve is not hands on with Kuminga or Quentin Post, and who else is? When you think about Moses Moody, right? I remember because him and Kuminga got drafted the same year. Moses sat on that bench for a long time, y'all, a long time. And he did not get any playing time, maybe garbage time here and there, 1 minute, maybe 10, 20 seconds, and that was that. I've seen a lot of growth in Moses. I have. And him and Kuminga came the same exact time. So I can't say that. I see growth in Quentin Post. I don't know who's responsible for it. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's Steve Kerr directly or it's an assistant coach or what. But I see growth in him. I see the rookie came right in and fit in seamlessly. There's been strides that he's making as well. Pods, and I love Pods. I don't care how y'all feel about Brandon Podziemski. To me, I'm gonna get me a Pods jersey, y'all. Okay, real talk. I'm so high on Pods. So and again, I look at when he first came in when Clay was still there. I remember because Pods took Clay's starting spot, his starting position in that lineup, right? Mainly because Pods plays defense and other things, and Clay obviously was older and he was in a bit of a shooting slump and things of that nature. But I'm looking at where Pods started. Pods started coming in again, garbage time. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 2 seconds. Then it went to 3 minutes. Then it went to like 8 minutes. And then he worked his way up. So I can't say Steve Kerr can't develop a young player or the trainer, the coaching staff can't, but something's going on. And I think it's more than just Steve Kerr. Steph needs to open his mouth. Steph is not that kind of person. It's a cynical kind of person. Now, and also Steve Kerr is never gonna come out. Draymond is never gonna put Steph in an awkward position by saying, "Well, Steph talked to Steve Kerr. This is what happened." Like he's never gonna do that. And Steve Kerr is not gonna say, "Well, Steph came to me," and Steph's not gonna come to the public and say, "Well, I did talk to Coach about letting him play, and he said no." Like he's not gonna do that. But maybe Steph did say something. Who knows? We will. That's what I'm saying. We don't know everything. We just know that Kuminga's on the bench, and we're like, "Why is he not playing?" That's what we do know. Not everything is racist. Stop using the race word for everything. We are making racists more important than they are. Kerr is not a racist. period. Kerr, bench. Oh yeah, Dario. I forgot he was there. Dario Saric too before he went to the Nuggets. Kaj, no one mentioned race in the comments. I don't. Did I say race? I don't know if I said the word racism. Maybe I did. Brother D. But what is it that you think? Because you keep saying that he's bullying. He's bullying Kuminga. He's targeting him. You also brought up Mark Jackson and Kuminga about the principle. So what is the principle that you're referring to? Maybe I'm missing something. So explain it in the chat. What are you saying? What's happening? How many players that Phil Jackson and Popovich developed? I will wait. Developing players overrated. The main role of Curry was to win chips. Did he win? Yep, they won 4 of them things. 4 of them things. I will say, that's not the main job of a head coach. But when you are drafting or bringing in young players or whatever who need time, somebody got to work with them now. You know what I mean? Somebody got to work with these players. I don't believe it's the head coach that's sitting there, looking at film and whatever have you. But obviously, like somebody. Also, you're responsible for yourself as well. You know what I mean? In the off season, what are you doing? How many of y'all look at Keontae George in Utah? Because again, another young man I am so high on. He posts his videos on YouTube. I watch a lot of players, when they post their videos of their workouts in the off season, on their off days, how they're training, and you can tell like some players they wait for the practice to work on their game. And then the ones that I think that you see excel are the ones who practice with the team, and the same ones who come early, the same ones who leave late, and the same ones who spend their off time working out. Keontae George is one that you saw last season who was really, really good, right? Look at him this season. He's taking another level, another step up. But I'm not surprised because he puts in so much work in the off season. Like he did a lot of training and different kinds of training in the off season. You know what I mean? So there's the coach, the head coach is responsible for the whole team, and you have your assistant coaches who help you delegate, and you delegate tasks to and different things. And then obviously as a player, you also responsible for working on your game, also managing your diet, not drinking, not hanging out, you know what I mean, at the club and whatnot, not getting everybody pregnant, you know what I mean? Like there's certain things that you need to do as well to make sure that you're in the best position, to be able to play and to grow. It's not only on the coach. Mark Jackson was such a good developed and can't find a job for 10 years. So Mark Jackson could not coach the Hornets or even the Knicks. Sometimes you read too much. It's not that deep. To me, when it comes to Mark Jackson, I don't understand why he can't get a job. I really don't. There were some, like I said before, there were some coaches who they don't do a good job. They get fired. They pop back up again someplace else, like the next season, getting paid, twice what they were paid before. You know what I mean? I'm like, how he still have a job? Like, what's he doing? Poole, Looney, under Kerr. Yep. Yeah, I felt bad, Nate, when they got rid of Looney, but I understood why they did it. And I'm still a part of the Poole party, y'all. I love Jordan Poole. Phil has 13 rings. Yep. He is a bully. Doesn't like him. That's obvious. That's the point. So how is he bullying him? That's what I'm saying, y'all. Like, we're not in the building. We don't know what's going on. Steve Kerr doesn't have a reputation of being a bully as a coach. Like, something else is going on that we do not know about. Something is not adding up. And sometimes we got to get out of our personal feelings and assess a whole situation. 11-man rotation. The 12th player is sitting on the sideline. He's back in now that Jimmy got hurt. But even beginning of the season, before everything happened, after offseason, Kuminga was getting playing time more than what he got before. Kuminga was also playing last year until he got hurt. And then that's when they traded for Jimmy. If I remember, Kuminga was playing, he got hurt, they got Jimmy. And then Jimmy and Steph, that balance, the complement of each other. And when Kuminga got back, Jimmy took his spot. So he had lost his time because they're the same player. They do the same things that Jimmy, obviously, I think to me is more experienced. And what's going on? Tyrese Maxey's flipping up. What's happening? They're the same player. So, he kind of lost his spot in that rotation. And then, that's that. But Bruce, again, stop assuming things. We don't know the relationship. Yeah, I mean, something's going on. I don't know what it is. I really don't. And maybe we'll come out and they'll come out and say it. But like I said, ownership, Joe Lacob, he could be like, look, let's get rid of Kuminga. Let's just get him off the roster. We're not playing him. We're paying him, but we're not playing him. Let's just trade him for somebody else. Again, APB for Seth and for Mike Dunleavy Jr. Like, where's it at? Let me see if I can find what Mike Dunleavy said about Kuminga. Hold on. Real quick. You said we do know what's going on. You attribute it to business, but it's obvious it's more than business. Okay, so what? What is it? What is it? So there's obviously something else is going on for sure. That's obvious. But what is the other stuff you're talking about when you say it? Like, what else? What is going on? Oh, the next one is about 3 points. Some missed calls now. I don't know. But what is it? You know what I mean? Please. Yeah, we don't know personally. Something's like I said, I don't know. I've never heard a player come out. Maybe I missed something. I got to go do some more research. I haven't heard a player come out and say, you know what, Steve Kerr. I know he's even like if you guys ever watch Gil's Arena and you hear Nick Young, he was there. I think when they won their first championship, or the second one. I haven't heard him say Steve Kerr is racist or he's a bully or anything like that. I haven't heard Iggy say it. I haven't heard Sean Livingston say it. I haven't heard any former players. Jordan Poole. I haven't heard anybody come out and say, you know what, Steve Kerr is, man. Whew, he's this kind of coach. Like I haven't heard anything like that. So I don't know. But let me go see if I can find Mike Dunleavy because he spoke about Kuminga. Let me see. Hold on. I don't need to know the relationship. Kerr is there to win. Yeah, he admits a key player. Yeah, so we have to ask ourselves why. What is it about this one key player? What is it about Kuminga that's just Steve Kerr is like I want to win, but I'm not going to play you. Like that something is missing. If like something is missing from this equation, it's not making sense. But let me go ahead and see if I can find this real quick. Hold on, y'all. Let me try to find it. Let's see. It's Mike. All right, y'all. I think I found this. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so I can see. So y'all can see it because Mike Dunleavy made an interesting comment. I think this is it. Let me see. I'll share my screen so y'all can hear it because I was like, oh, ooh, what was that? Doo-doo.
Great
Out of here. Come on.
performance brand. Hurry into your Honda dealer today.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the demand, I'm aware of that. I think when in terms of demands, when you make a demand, there needs to be demand on the market.
A lot of demands right there.
All right, so I don't know if y'all heard it.
So I think he's
No.
saying you gotta make a demand.
Hold on,
That's
hold
what-
So, all right. So I don't know if y'all heard it, right? He said, yeah, there are a lot of demands, but when you make a demand, there needs to be a demand. In other words, you're demanding a trade, but there's no one who is demanding a trade for you. Like there's no demand for you, but you're demanding that you need to leave. So that was very shady out there in the classiest of ways, and I was like, oh, okay. So Kuminga, I know for a while has always been very vocal through his agent that he wants to have more playing time. He feels like he should be a starter. He wants to get paid top dollar. I'm all for the confidence, right? Because if you don't believe in yourself, then damn it, nobody else is, right? You got to be like, look, I'm one of those ones. Give me some playing time, and I'll show you what I could do, right? So I'm here for it. But the times that he has played this, I'm like, Kuminga, You got to show a little bit more. I do believe that he has a high ceiling. And honestly, if I'm ownership, I wouldn't get rid of him, right? I would try to find a way to work with him. Because, you got to think about when Steph leaves, right? Steph is older. He's 37, going to turn 38. Obviously, Draymond's older. Jimmy's older. He's injuries. Al Horford's older. So I don't know about just giving up everything, right now, because what happens when Steph leaves? But I thought that was interesting when he said that. I was like, so is anybody calling for him? If he's not calling for him, I don't know. Bruce said Kerr is always the person speaking personally about the rights of people, gun shootings, and now he's a bully. He does. He's very passionate. I remember, I think it was what happened? I think there was a shooting at a school. I forgot what school it was because these things just unfortunately happen so often now. He was very, very passionate and upset about what happened. He was. The fact that he has not traded shows you how you're okay. Exactly. So who are we talking about? That's not a Steve Kerr decision. A coach doesn't trade a player. That's a GM. They could have traded Kuminga a while ago. They could have traded him in the offseason. Again, if y'all been here, I said send him to New Orleans because they got a nice little young core. I think that he could get the time that he wants on there. He could maybe get more of a role. Zion, like I don't know why he's still there. Whole other conversation, right? Because to me that was just a waste of money. He's like robbing the Pelicans. But Trey Murphy III, I think, will be a great addition to this team. I said it a long time ago, and I'm going to keep saying it. But that's not true. How do I know that? You may think it's not true, but how do I know that? Like, how do I know that it's not true? Like, I have no team came out and said, or no anonymous. I haven't heard Sean's report. Like, well, via my sources, sources said that that there's interest from Kuminga with this team or that team. You know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't heard Shams say it. Now, I don't have no insiders, so I'm going by what people like Shams, they report. I can't go by anything but that. I am sorry that this is a cutthroat, or cruel, but that this is cutthroat, but this is a business. You are worth what you're worth. This is not a potential business. This is a result stats business. I get what you're saying, but when you have young players, like it takes time. You have like some players who come right in and they just fit like a glove, right? I think Dylan Harper has come right in with the Spurs and has been a great addition for that team. The Thompson twins, right? Asar for Detroit. Especially a men with Ime Udoka in Houston, right? Those two twins have fit right in to the teams that they went into, what the people already had, and the way both teams are going and growing, right? Like they fit where they are. But it takes time. SGA, was he not with the Clippers, right? Before he went to OKC? You think hindsight, right? If they knew what SGA would have become, that they would have still traded him? No, probably not. So sometimes you give up on players too soon. I remember years ago, I forgot what I was watching, the Steph Curry documentary. It was something I was watching, and they were saying that the Warriors were going to give up on Steph in the beginning because he was always injured, and who he is now obviously wasn't how he started out. Could you imagine if they had traded Steph and not kept him? Like I think they said Mark Jackson was the one that convinced them to keep Steph Curry, right? And maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but assume that it's true. If they had given up on Steph, could you imagine like what that would look like? Like they're gonna have a Steph Curry statue, in my opinion, when he retires. But could you imagine them saying, you know what, let's get rid of Steph? Sometimes sometimes you gotta give people time. You do. Winning championships don't happen overnight. The stars gotta align. You gotta have the right players, the right coaching. Injuries play a factor. Matchups play a factor. There's a lot of layers to it. Let me go to the other comment. At Bruce, so you rather sit him and have nothing when you have a key player down? He is playing now. Well, he got hurt again, but he is playing now. Kuminga's playing. He was playing. When Jimmy went down, he came in the next game, and he actually did really good. It was 20 points in 21 minutes. I can't forget it. So, yeah. Kerr can be two things at once. What are the two things you're saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? So what are the two things that he is at one time? Brother D, they are trying to trade him. They don't like what they get offered. This is a business, y'all. Look, no one has traded him for a bag of chips. Okay, they want something in return that's gonna help that roster. They're not gonna just give him up for just any old thing. That's just not gonna happen. Okay, that's not even smart business. I think if Jimmy would have still been playing and he had not gotten hurt, I think Kuminga, they would have tried to move Kuminga before the trade deadline closes. But right now, we're never going to know because Jimmy got hurt. So in comes Kuminga. And it worked out. If Kuminga can stay healthy and he can still be the player that he says he is, then he has prime. Now it's time to show and prove, right? You've been saying all this time, Kuminga, his agent has been speaking on his behalf. He wants a starting role. He wants more substantial minutes and more playing time. He wants top dollar. Now, Kuminga, the floor is yours. When he gets healthy again and he's back out there, now is the time, young man, to show everybody that you are exactly who you say you are. What's the song, Louis Fiasco? If you are what you know, superstar, right? The camera's here. Show exactly who you are. Don't laugh at my singing, y'all, okay? But go ahead, young man. Show exactly who you are. Let's go. Clip it. All right. If Kerr wanted him gone, Kuminga's home would be on trade market. Okay. I don't believe, again, it's not just a Steve Kerr decision. Steve Kerr's not an owner. That's above his pay grade. If SGA was playing with Kawhi, he will not be who he is now. Well, maybe not. I'm just saying, if they knew who SGA was going to turn into, they wouldn't have probably made that trade, is what I'm saying, but it took time, right? It took time. Greatness takes time. Kuminga is playing with Curry. He will not be the player he aspires to be, just like Monta Ellis had to go so that Curry could flourish. Excuse me. I was watching a little bit of Charles Barkley. Shout out to him. He lost a lot of weight. Charles Barkley, Ernie, Shaq, and Kenny. And Shaq brought up an interesting point that I had not thought of. He was saying send Kuminga to the Spurs. I like that idea. I do. Because of the Kuminga style of play and because of how they play. There are a lot of two-way players. There are a lot of mid-range players, athletic. He has height. He has length. I think he would fit in really good with that system. And in return, they have some players that they could probably send the Warriors because a lot of their players are young. They got players on that bench who were talented who don't really get a chance to play because they have so many options. So that actually could be an interesting trade. It really could be. But now that Kuminga's hurt, how long is he going to be out? He was hurt earlier this season. I don't know, man. I don't want to get nobody who's going to be injured unless you say, well, you know what? We're okay with him being injured right now because we know when the players roll around, we can use him. And that can work too. Because can Wimby stay healthy? He's another one. That's jury's still out. All right. Kerr can be an advocate for people and players, and he could be a bully to them. But again, why? Why? What is it about Kuminga that Steve Kerr has personally said, you know what, I'm going to make it my mission to bully you, young man, and just make your life a living, miserable hell here for Golden State. And you honestly think if the players in that locker room saw that the coach was intentionally being mean to a specific player, that would actually fare over well with the players and we wouldn't hear about it at all, like nobody would tell us? I don't know, Brother D. I don't believe that. You got to be mindful as a coach because you'll lose locker room really, really quickly. If they see a coach targeting one player in a mean way, a nasty, bullying kind of way, like intentionally, like keeping you from being your best, how would your players respond to you? Like, how would they? How would you keep the locker room? How would you have the respect of your players if you were outright showing them? Because they're there in the locker room every single day. We're not, but they are. Something's not right. So Curry is a bully advocate. I doubt it. You don't have to know why. I mean, you keep saying it though. You keep saying that he is a bully, and with Kuminga. So where are you getting that from? Like, what? Bully him how? What purpose does he have to bully Kuminga? He's very well paid, Steve Kerr. If he retires today or he got fired tomorrow, his career is static. He's like one of the top 5 winningest coaches in the NBA history. Played with Michael Jordan, Olympic gold medalist a few times over at this point. Like, one in the NBA as a coach, as a player. I mean, he's made millions of dollars. Like, so what does he have in him to say, you know what, I'm a single out Kuminga? I don't know. Something's not adding up. I think you have a problem with Steve Kerr. You don't like him as a coach, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody's not for everybody. But I think that's where a lot is coming from, because you're not saying anything. You haven't said, well, I heard a foreign player say, when I was there with Steve Kerr, he did this, he did that. I haven't heard any player come out anonymously and say, you know what, Steve Kerr is treating Kuminga like this on purpose. Like, I haven't heard those reports, or read them. Curry seems to be a man of character. I agree with that. I do not know him, but he seems to be. I agree. Yeah, we don't know him, you know what I mean? But I don't think he would be as blessed as he was and have the love and the respect that he has from everybody, past, present, coming in, if he wasn't a man of high character. Kerr speaks against the bully all the time, and now he's one crazy LOL. Bruce and Kaja, you know what? What is it you know? You keep saying you know. Like, what is it you know? Knowing means that you are there, you have someone who works there, you're privy to information that we're not privy to. That's the only way that anybody can know for sure what's going on. Other than that, you're speculating. And you have an opinion, but you don't know for a fact. All right, you guys. So, with that being said, since the Warriors, right, have been, struggling, do y'all think that Steve Kerr should go? Maybe in the middle of the season, or y'all think next season? Is it time that the Warriors get a new head coach, like a new voice, y'all think, for Steph? Like, could that be the key to the Warriors' success? And if so, who do y'all think should be the new head coach? Bring Mark Jackson back? I doubt that. Mike Budenholzer? Like, what coach? What coach do you think? That's my last question for y'all. What y'all think about that? I do think that a lot of the issue is on the roster. I think, for me, the GM is not a good GM, and I've said this for a few seasons now. When Bob Myers was there, this roster was, they found ways to bring new players in. They found ways to maximize what they had. Since Bob Myers has left and Mike Dunleavy Jr. has stepped into that GM that role, it has not been good at all. I think that's one of the bigger parts of the problem, because as a coach, I can only coach who's on my roster. And if I don't have the right pieces I need to have, let's say the ownership is not willing to bring in the right pieces, I don't know. I don't think he knows what he's doing. Bob Myers would never. He would have figured something out a long time ago. I don't know what's happening at all. Like, I really, really do not know. Your keyboard is skipping. Okay. Sorry to hear that. You think he should go? Okay. I don't think his voice has lost its power, though. I think we need to, get this roster together, because right now you're just wasting Steph's time. Draymond should be the coach next year. I think Draymond will actually be a good coach. Maybe not for the Warriors, maybe not next year, but I do think Coach Green, Coach Dre, I think he would make a good coach. I do. Draymond has a very high IQ. He knows basketball. You may not like his ways. It's one of the conversation, but I do think that there are some players that he could relate to. I think he could be a good coach. I really do. Kerr should be coaching vets, not pods who Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, not Post who has stone hands, not Moody whose POA is awful, not Draymond who is washed. Podcast Dre is better than a player now. So again, I'm saying you're talking about the roster, the way the roster is constructed. I like Moses, I like Pods. I think Post also they have made great strides. Remember, Post is only his second season. Last season he didn't really get playing time. You know what I mean? Like, the best experience and when you're a professional athlete, in my humble opinion, is to actually play in the game. Like, you can do all the mock-up, scrimmages and whatnot, but it is different You know what I mean? You could have Draymond play defense on you, but it's going to be different if you're out there playing it against Wemby. You know what I mean? Like he needs some more muscle to me. I'm talking about Post specifically. He needs some more muscle, and he needs more time. You know, I see growth, but I think honestly, he needs more time. I do think he needs more time. I think Moses has made great strides. I really do, especially with 3-point shooting. And that's something else also. I think the Warriors, they're such a heavy 3-point shooting team. One of the reasons why I think Jimmy fit in great. You need other players there who do more than just 3-point shooting. You know what I mean? Because when their 3-point shot is not landing, it's like the whole team just has like just nobody can hit a three. When everybody's hitting their threes, it just is. When they're moving the ball, it's like it's phenomenal and it's great to watch, right? When them threes are not landing, man, like they can't buy a shot. Nobody's getting offensive rebounds. They do defensive rebounds, but no one's really doing offensive rebounds. Second chance points are non-existent. Those opportunities very much matter. You got to rebound. I be screaming rebound. Like if you hear me, my son knows. I'm like, you got to rebound. They don't really do that on the offensive side. You got to have players. Steph, if his three's not landing, Steph is so gifted. He's gonna find a way to get in there and get a layup, a floater. But how many people other than Steph on a team are also doing that? You know what I mean? Like I think you need more of a balance on this team. You know what I mean? You got your 3-point shooters, but to keep that defense honest, because they know the Warriors are going to be going to 3-point line. That's why when they were playing the Mavericks the other night, right? They went cold. You know what I mean? They were 14 for, I think, 42, 43 3-point shots in that game. Why? Because the Mavericks were defending the 3-point line. They made it harder for them. They took away what they do best, and now I need somebody else to do something. I think Steph still finished with 38 points, 35, but obviously it wasn't enough because who else is coming along to the party? You know what I mean? So they definitely miss Jimmy out there, but they got to have players who do more than just shoot threes. That's why I think the Spurs have really have something there besides their youth and athleticism. The fact that they're not all just like focused on shooting threes. Everybody just want to shoot threes. You know what I mean? It's like a 3-point shooting league. Everybody threes. You know, when I watch the Timberwolves, I'm looking at Nas Reed. Nas Reed is like 6'11", wingspan, 7 foot something. I'm like, dude, shoot your threes, but also get in the paint. You know what I mean? Give me a rebound. No, give me some. How are you averaging like 5 rebounds at that with that height? Like, how is Steph getting more rebounds than you? Come on, like that's craziness to me. That's crazy. Curry needs ready to win players now, not need some time players. So again, I'm saying that I feel you, Bruce. What I'm saying is that goes back. And Steph also said he doesn't want them to deplete the roster because he wants them to also make sure that they're still able to win games once he leaves. Steph, right? So inspirational. So yeah, again, to me, if I'm Joe Lacob, and I know that Mike Dunleavy Jr., I forgot who his dad was in the organization, so that's probably obviously nepotism, but they got to do something. They got to do something. I don't know what, they got to do something different. They got to get some other players in there on this roster, and that's where it starts. Right now, Steve Kerr, he's coaching and doing what he can with who he has on the roster. That's really all he can do at this point. You got to get some other people up in there. All right. Brother D, I don't know what this TZHE is. I'm just going with your keyboard, man. I don't know what's going on. All right, you guys. I'm going to head on up out of here. I really want to come on here and talk to y'all about this. It was like bothering me. So I had to come on here and chat with y'all. I'll be on here a little more often. Now, NFL is getting ready to be gone. And we can focus more on the NBA. Super excited. My favorite sport, y'all. I love football, but NBA, I love basketball more. All right, you guys. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy Sunday football tomorrow. I'll see you guys Monday, obviously. We'll talk about we'll preview Super Bowl because we'll know after tomorrow who will be the Super Bowl, and that'll be that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on with me. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your night, you guys. Stay safe. And if you are in the up north, where I am, stay inside. Stay inside and stay warm, y'all, okay? Stay warm. Get your hot cocoa, Brother D. Woosah. Go watch Bad Boys 2. Get you a good laugh. And woosah. Okay? Like real talk. Like woosah. Breathe. Calm down, okay? I know Steve Kerr, you don't like him, but it's all good. Breathe. All right, you guys. I will see you guys soon. Peace out, y'all.